What is up, Edison duelists? This is Dionysus, aka Young Puds, coming at you guys with some more shameless hype beast GigaVise content. What are we up to today, folks? Well, I had been having so much fun with the Millavise type list that I thought I would give it another crack, mainly because I'm focused on this boy here, Cyber Valley. So we're going to go ahead and take another look at this. I think we're going to focus on Valley, and like I said, yeah, we'll just take a look. I think it has a lot of potential. I actually think we're going to go ahead and not want to have as many of the mill cards, so we're actually going to take those out, and we'll take out the debris dragons as well, and that. But maybe I want to leave in the card trooper and leave in the plague spreader zombie. Seems kind of funny, because I mean, we can be, see what I mean? We could still be hitting the plague. That's just kind of raising our ceiling a little bit. But I tell you what I am going to be playing, once again, is Super Solar Nutrient, because I think this card is really, really good. Now, I do like the Call of the Haunted, the Limit Reverse. I think actually I do want to go ahead and play a second Limit Reverse. I'm thinking we want to be, using Limit Reverse maybe even on Cyber Valley, and the return seems like a lot of fun as well. And then let's just round things off with a couple really good cards. This one, maybe you've heard of it. It's called Trap Dust Shoot. Lets you look into your opponent's hand. And then we'll also go ahead and play Solemn Judgment, and we'll cut the return as well for a nice little bit of Mirror Force. That wants to go in there. All right. So this looks like a lot of fun. We're going to keep playing the Plague Spreader. We're going to keep playing the Card Trooper. The idea here is that 1-for-1 has been bad in the past. They don't have enough monsters. So a nice monster count of 14 seems a little bit better. Also, let's cut one Limit Reverse. And let's go ahead and play that Torrential Tribute. Torrential Tribute seems really nice with the Card Trooper. Seems really nice with the Plague Spreader Zombie. Seems really nice with the Sandgan. And I don't know about you guys, but that seems like a really nice lineup here. Looking at our side deck, we've got to fix that up a little bit. We're going to get rid of this god-awful Soul Exchange package. We're going to put in some Book of Moons. And we're going to put in... let's see. A Knock. Where are you? Hello, Knock. And, okay, I think I actually don't want to play Limit Reverse, and I want to play one Lightning Vortex in the main deck, just so we have a little bit more of a discard outlet. And then we're going to play the, what do I want here? Okay, I tell you what we're going to do. We have space, because we don't have to play AFD anymore. We can put that back in there, right? You see where we're going here with this? And then now we can play the, I love just the hard matchup cards. So we'll play Light Imprisoning Mirror, and we'll play Swallow Flip for GBs. All right, this seems great. Let's set this as our default, and let's just hop onto ladder with this deck. We're just trying to have some good, fun duels. I will admit, if you watched yesterday's video, I got a little salty, and some of you guys in the comments said, "Hey, you had a good reason to be salty." Other you guys said you are literal subhuman filth for getting so salty, and I think the truth is somewhere in the middle, because the truth so often is somewhere in the middle. Every story has two sides to it, and things can lean one way or the other. But no, I think it's always good to remember that nobody does anything for no reason. And additionally, people like to think that they're fundamentally good. People don't like to think of themselves as bad. People like to think that they're good. Everyone wants to sleep at night. So, anyone that's doing anything really, obviously there's exceptions, but most people, they're doing something even if it's something that other people might disagree with because they think it's right. They're just trying to do their best, and I really think everyone is just out here trying to do their best, and it's important to keep that in mind. So you're going to go ahead and normal summon that Dark Valkyria, and we are going to go ahead and hit you with a torrential now that you've used your normal summon, and then we get our 2 tokens. Fantastic. So we have some options here. If we draw a supervise, we could do something like tribute summon Gigaplant, equipped with supervise. This looks good too. You know what we could do? We could just go Valley effect. I like that. We do have the hidden armory draw, but I want to draw some more cards first. That's my priority right now. Okay, so see, we just hard drew supervise. That's fantastic. MST on our judgment. That feels bad, but MST would hit supervise, so I'm happy in that respect. Do not have to deal with it. We could do all sorts of cool stuff here. Involving equipping supervise to our opponent's monsters. And I'll be honest, guys, I kind of hope we get to do something like that. Okay, so we've drawn Miracle Fertilizer, so this is actually super good. So what I'm thinking we want to do here, let's see. Oh. So it was kind of, I'm just thinking that we want to, get the DDR off the hidden armory and discard the Gigaplant so we can go off. But, yeah, we just hit Dandelion. What a good mill. What a mill. What a mill. So true, King. What a nice mill. All right, so let's go ahead and use DDR. We'll discard Gigaplant, and we'll bring back Cyber Valley. Now we have a good chance of, drawing one of our sweepers. This is fantastic. This Cyber Valley gameplay, it's so cozy. Oh, and we drew our other tuner. No Lone Fire, no problem. Am I right, guys? There you go. Bottomless. That's unfortunate. That's kind of the one thing that gets in our way a little bit. But we still have a token, and so we can just safely pass. Reinforced Truth. Big problem. Here comes Gemini Soldier. Now we're in trouble. Future Samurai is kind of crazy. I haven't seen the Gemini decks play this card. I mean, obviously, I don't pay too much attention to them, but still, this is any monster to destroy any face-up monster on the field. That's wild, and it's a light? What a good card. All right, so we're just we're not. I would have thought that we'd be developing the Gemini Soldier here. No. It's not Gemini summoned. You just special summoned it. And then this turn you normal summon Feather. Oh. Dog. It's not that big of a deal. Look, I'm in terrible shape. You probably win this one. Yeah, that's another thing. Don't quit, guys. Don't quit. No big deal. No big deal. That was some fun Cyber Valley action. That made me really happy. It's days like this. Today is April 30th, early in the morning when I'm recording this. I'll probably upload it a little bit later today. And, sometimes I like to go ahead and I look at my logbook. I did it digitally, right, for my through hike. And I like to just look back and see what I was doing on that day. And, ooh, okay. So this was a fantastic day, April 30th. So I did, it was a 14-mile day, and we were in the Roan Highlands, which is along the North Carolina-Tennessee border. And it was really, really nice. So what had happened is the day before, most of my friends had decided to do this crazy, and I mean crazy, 24-mile day. And I'll be honest, I was not having that. I was like, no, that's a bit much. So when we got to mile 20, I found this beautiful campsite. It's just absolutely gorgeous. It was the site of a former apple orchard. There was this pristine water source, just straight off, spring water fresh from the mountain. There was no one else camping there. I was like, this is going to be a perfect spot. And I tried to get everyone to just stop for the day early with me. No one else was having it. But, what are you going to do? I was like, all right, I'm stopping here. You got to enjoy the really nice campsites. And Oh god, that's disgusting. Um, sure, whatever. Whatever. Anyways, and I set up my tent, and this guy showed up. He didn't end up stopping there, but he saw my tent, and I don't know if you guys are big hikers, but the tent I use, it's the Dan Durston X Mid, and X Mids are very easy to get, and I highly recommend them if you're looking for a lightweight tent. That's something that you're interested in. But back at this time, X Mids were really hard to get. They were still pretty new, and I had one of the original X Mids. Like I didn't know how big of a deal it was. I was just like, oh yeah, this seems like a good tent. It's affordable. I got it off Amazon, real cheap. But but by the time this was a little bit before my hike, so then by the time this was like actually on the Appalachian Trail, they were like super super hard to find, and it was it's kind of like an exclusive thing. So the guy was really excited to see an X Mid, so he took my picture, with my wine and everything, and it was just fun. Um, let's think here. Honest, Lumina, JD, Reincarnation, Gores. You have 3, so we'll put back Honest, because that way you cannot slay my board. So what do you probably do here? You probably just go Lumina, discard the Reincarnation, and then just mill a ton. But Gigaplant gets to live, and then we have Lightning Vortex, which this is in the main deck. Am I maining Lightning Vortex? It seems kind of good. I don't know. You're not even using Lumina's effect. You're just going Lumina. Okay, time to mill. Interesting. We drew Nettles for turn. Also interesting. Problem here is if I attack, then we're turning on JD, and I don't know if I really want to be doing that. Okay, you know what? You know what I like? This seems pretty good. We'll summon Lone Fire Blossom, and then we're gonna go. Do we even go Lone Fire effect? Because what if I'm thinking like we attack over the Lumina, and then what if we try and get him to put the Gores on the field? Then that's he'd have to come up with another 2,300 to slay us. How easy is it for him? Oh, not just 23, just 18. Okay, so we're just gonna attack over the Lumina. And then main phase 2, we're going to use the Lone Fire. And we're going to go for Copy Plant. And then believe it or not here, folks, believe it or not, this is actually a true statement. Independent fact checkers have verified this. We are going to go ahead and pick up a DDR. So anyways, oh no. Oh no. Well, 33% is going to round up to 100%. We got to fix this. We got to fix this ASAP. You guys, I think we lose. I think we lose this one. But I'm not going to quit. I'm going to hang in there. Obviously, we would not have taken this line if I didn't have 2 DDRs in deck. That's really, really, really unfortunate. There's no 2 ways about it. Alright, so then we just take a 3,000. Yep. We can get you kind of low. I don't know. True Nade for turn. Alright, Mark of the Rose. Man, I can't believe that. We'll do this. Gores? Gores? No Gores. Interesting. You could get Lumina. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna True Nade to put this back in our hand, and then you can have that. And then we're gonna Lightning Vortex. Yeah, we're gonna lightning vortex. This looks great. I'm being yelled at for tapping my feet. Sometimes I tap my feet when I'm playing games. Then I get told off. Tapping my feet. Okay. So you swing for 3,000. Oh, that's a Necro Gardener in there. I was like, but then you just lose. No. In fact, we just lose. But that's fine, because we have Light Imprisoning Mirror to put in. We have all these bad cards that we can take out. Why are we putting in MST? Let's do 1 crow. That'll be fun. So, anyways, and then I met this guy who did end up camping at the same campsite as me, and he was really cool. He's like an older guy from Massachusetts, and he told me about how he'd been planning on hiking the Appalachian Trail with his son, and he run a really successful restaurant that he had recently sold, and he had a second restaurant that he had sold as well, so he's got all the time in the world, and he's gonna do this great big hike with his son. He was so excited to do it. And it was really, really sad, because just before they were supposed to go and do the hike, his son got into a really bad car accident and actually passed away, which was really, really awful. And he told me all about this. And for me, a big thing that I was kind of out there on the Appalachian Trail to do was deal with my grief from my father passing. So, and I told this guy about that. So we never really said anything about it, but there was kind of just this like unspoken thing where like we both dealt with loss, and I never saw him again. It was just for that one night where we camped together, but it was really, really nice. It was kind of just like I don't even know like exactly how to really describe it, but if you've dealt with loss, maybe you understand, where it's just you get moments kind of like that where you just don't feel quite so alone, and it was really special. So I was really glad that I decided to camp there. But anyways, the next day, which is all of this is what I was kind of building to, was April 30th. And so I had still like the 4 or 5 miles to make up from the previous day to catch up with everyone. So I get a really early start. I wake up super early, and I managed to do it. And some of my friends had already kind of just hiked on, and but I did meet up with the rest of our group, and we all hiked all together, me and 4 of my friends, and one of our friends, he lives in North Carolina. So one of his coworkers was like close enough to drive to us, and he brought us cookout. And I don't know if you guys are familiar, if you guys live in the South, if you guys have been to the American South, but there is this amazing fast food chain called Cookout. And why do I like Cookout so much? Here's the thing about Cookout is it's good and it's cheap, like I mean, it's not like crazy high quality, it's cheap, it's fast food, but like it feels a little nicer to me than like your standard like McDonald's and that type of stuff. So I like it from that respect. And and then it's just like you get like a barbecue sandwich, instead of a burger, and it's like it's nicer, it's I mean, it's cheap fast food, but it's going to be a better barbecue sandwich than you're going to get in the North, even at like a nice barbecue place. Quick aside, I went to this barbecue place that opened up near me pretty recently, and again, I live in New England. And you're kind of rolling the dice anytime you go get barbecue outside of the South. And folks, we got pulled pork, we got brisket. The brisket was fine, like it wasn't great, but the pulled pork was like it was hard, like it like you could like knock on it and it made like that sound. So that was really, really pretty horrendous. Definitely do not recommend that place. But cookout was great, and so our friend met us at the top of I forget the name of the gap, but it was right by Roan High Knob, so real high up in the Roan Highlands. And the thing about the Roan Highlands is it's a lot of balds, so they're pretty big mountains by East Coast standards. Calm down, West Coast folks. I know your guys' mountains are bigger than ours, but ours have their own kind of charm. So there's these just grassy hills. They're mountains, but grassy hills is kind of how he's describing it. And so his coworker brought us cookout. We had some sweet tea. Shout out the South. You guys do sweet tea properly. If you think you've had sweet tea and you haven't had it in the South, you just you're missing out. You're missing out. You don't know it, but you really are missing out. So then we go up and we do a little side trail. I think it was maybe just like an extra mile or 2 miles to go off, and we could camp right on top of one of these balds. And it was, you guys, it was beautiful. It was a clear night. We got to like watch the sunset from up there, and then we got to start off early the next day. And this would be May 1st at this point. And it was our last day in North Carolina. We were finally crossing into Tennessee for good. The rest of our friends had already gone ahead and hiked it was probably like 11 more miles to get to a hostel that we could stay at. Shout out the station at 19E. Fun little place. And so we caught up with our friends, but when we were coming over all these balds while we were hiking that day, I was like watching a thunderstorm roll in, and you really don't want to be out there, high up, exposed like that when a thunderstorm is rolling in. So I was like really just trying to like hike as fast as I could, and beat the storm. This is unfortunate. Yeah, I take 200. My keyboard's not working. I had numlock off. That'll do it, huh? What are we doing? Come on. And it was like as soon as I made it like down off the last bald and off the tree line, it just the storm, it just started pouring. So I was really glad to have made it for the storm. And then we got picked up by these guys, and I don't think they were happy to pick us up, and they were happy to like give us beers to drink while they were driving us to the hostel. But I think there was a little bit of a language barrier, and they thought that we wanted to go all the way into town, and we just wanted to go to the one hostel. So then we finally, we had to like, hey, stop, turn around and pull this over. We need to get out back there. But they were nice about it. That was the thing about the Appalachian Trail that I wasn't really necessarily expecting, is I did a lot of hitchhiking. And, hitchhiking that seems like such a, like a 60s thing or whatever. Just something that we don't really do these days anymore. And while it's definitely true that you probably shouldn't be hitchhiking in most places, the Appalachian Trail has a really, really nice hitchhiking culture where it is pretty safe. And you can just stick out your thumb and you get a ride, and it's really cool. So that was a nice win there. And maybe, guys, next time I'll tell you a little bit more about hitchhiking. I had fun with this deck. I hope you guys had fun with this deck. I think it's a really good idea. I think this is a really solid way to play it. Just Cyber Valleys. I'm still not sure about the Call of Haunted, but I like trying out the new stuff. But sometimes you just wanna stick to the classics, and I think this is a pretty good list. Let's get it ready for next time we play it. GigaVise. We're gonna go ahead and just play the correct amount of equips, because that was really unfortunate to punt that first game. DDR and Mark of the Rose. All right, there you have it. So 23, 5, and 12. This seems like a very nice list. And we'll definitely play this more. Broken Bamboo Sword deck coming soon. And of course, more Shameless Hypebeat content coming soon as well. So I will see you guys tomorrow. But happy Wednesday, happy hump day, halfway to the weekend, and halfway to YCS Providence. I'm so excited for that one. I might even play a deck that looks kind of like this. I don't know. Cyber Rally seems kind of good. But yeah. All right. Take care, guys. Have a good one.